The young lady that just boarded at my last stop.
Sometimes it starts with a simple goal: stop a suspect. But what officers don't know is how fast that stop can explode into violence. In Baltimore County, a man wanted for armed robbery boarded a public bus, only to turn the street outside into a battlefield. In Brooklyn, Ohio, a traffic stop turned into a dangerous chase when the suspect floored the gas, dragging an officer down the road. Both events ended with suspects down and officers hurt. Both started with basic procedures and spiraled into chaos.
Somebody went on this bus.
This video takes you inside two real incidents where decisions had to be made in split seconds and survival depended on instinct, backup, and sheer willpower. Dundalk, Maryland.
We just boarded at the last stop.
The MTA bus shootout that left one dead and two wounded. It was just after 3 p.m. when chaos erupted in the heart of Baltimore County. 35-year-old Blaine Robert Erb, with no fixed address, had just robbed two victims at gunpoint in a busy shopping plaza. But instead of running into the shadows or ducking down alleyways, Erb made a bold and bizarre decision. He boarded a city bus. That bus, filled with unsuspecting passengers, became a ticking time bomb. As police received descriptions of the suspect, learned he had hopped on public transit, they tracked the MTA bus down and surrounded it on Dundalk Avenue. Officers worked quickly and carefully. They stopped the bus. They drew their weapons, and they began ordering passengers off, front door only, one by one, hands raised. But Erb didn't move. He stayed seated near the back, watching, waiting. Then, just as the last few passengers were stepping off, Erb bolted through the back exit. In his hand, a gun. Within seconds, gunfire erupted on a quiet neighborhood street. Erb fired first, catching officers off guard. A nearby officer went down, hit by one of the suspect's bullets. Another stray round struck a civilian standing near the intersection. 2 lives instantly altered, but Erb wasn't done. He scrambled behind a nearby car, ducking low, firing again. Officers responded with a coordinated counterattack, flanking from both sides. Using parked vehicles as cover, trying to box him in before he could harm anyone else. It was over in seconds, but it felt like hours. Erb was struck multiple times. When officers moved in, they recovered the firearm beside his body, a loaded, fully functional weapon. Paramedics rushed in to stabilize the wounded officer. And the civilian. Erb was declared dead at the scene. The investigation later confirmed what the body cams had already shown. Erb had created a war zone in broad daylight. He had committed armed robbery, endangered civilians, wounded a peace officer, and fired at police without hesitation. Prosecutors ruled the officer-involved shooting completely justified. But for the people on that bus, and for the officer who fell that day, justification doesn't erase trauma. It was a reminder that some suspects aren't looking to escape quietly. They're looking to go out in a blaze of chaos. Brooklyn, Ohio, dragged by a suspect, then slammed into a van. The scene should have been routine. An officer pulled over a van, likely expecting just another traffic citation. But As he checked the driver's identity, a red flag popped up. The driver was 34-year-old Thomas LaForce, already wanted on multiple warrants. The officer calmly approached, trying to remove LaForce from the vehicle. But in a sudden surge of resistance, LaForce hit the gas, with the officer partially inside the vehicle. The body cam captures the terrifying seconds that followed. The officer hangs onto the doorframe, dragged alongside the moving van, trying not to lose his grip as LaForce accelerates into traffic. His feet scrape the pavement. His body slams against the side mirror. Then, finally, he's thrown clear. Dispatch is already lighting up with alerts. More officers join the chase, trying to track LaForce as he weaves through traffic. Running red lights, putting civilians at risk. What began as a stop became a full-scale pursuit through a busy neighborhood. Eventually, officers catch up to him.
Where is he on the bus?
One of them uses a controlled pipe maneuver to ram LaForce's vehicle, pushing it off the road and into a stop. But even cornered, LaForce refuses to comply. Officers surround the van.
That's fired out here.
Subject still on the bus, correct?
Yelling commands, giving him every chance to surrender. He doesn't move. He doesn't open the door. So they smash the windows, break through the glass, and pull him out by force. LaForce is pinned to the ground.
The 1273 car's side. He is a large white male.
Handcuffed and taken into custody. He is hospitalized briefly for minor injuries. Two officers also receive medical treatment, but are later released.
Side of the bus.
LaForce is now facing felony charges, including felonious assault on a police officer, fleeing and eluding, and potentially additional charges for resisting arrest and reckless endangerment.
Rounds actively. We need patch.
This wasn't a hardened criminal with a detailed escape plan. It was someone who panicked, and in that panic, nearly killed an officer and risked dozens of civilian lives. The officer's decision to escalate quickly, box him in, and use controlled force likely prevented a tragedy. Because had he made it onto the highway, the outcome could have been far worse. One suspect tried to disappear onto a city bus, then turned it into a battleground. The other refused to surrender, dragging an officer and putting lives in danger. Both made a choice: fight instead of comply, and both paid the price. These cases are a stark reminder. No stop is ever routine, and in seconds a badge can become a target. When suspects flee or fight, it's not just the law they defy, it's every safeguard that keeps officers and the public alive. For more real-life breakdowns of critical police encounters, subscribe and stay updated, because behind every headline, there's a story you haven't heard yet.